Do things feel off? Well then, the video we're reacting to today might be helpful. I just stumbled across this today and I watched the first part of it and I was like, ooh, this is fascinating. Has a lot, I think, to do with like the addictiveness of technology and stuff, like people getting lost in distraction. So we're going to take a look at this. This is done by Chase Hughes, new to us also. So we won't keep you waiting. Let's get into it.
Something is quietly stealing your memory. And if you're not paying attention, it might take your identity with it. This isn't a crisis that you're going to see on the news. It's just a slow fade. It's a blur. It's literally mass amnesia. It's not a call to panic. This is an invitation, not to believe, to notice. If your mind's been foggy, if you felt off, unfocused, or not quite you, you are not alone. I'm going to show you what's happening, how to know if you're being affected by it, and how to find your way back. Let's pull back the curtain on what's been quietly reshaping your inner world without your permission. Most people think they're making choices, what to read, what to feel, what matters. What if it's been curated? These algorithms know exactly what sparks your anger, what's going to piss you off. They know when you're lonely. They predict the moment that you're going to crave attention. Once they know that, they don't just show you what you want. They build who you become. AI doesn't wait to see who you are. It decides which options that you will even see. The news, the trends, you are being led somewhere. A reality manufactured by code that you will never read and systems that you never really consented to. This isn't just manipulation. That is a structural erosion of self, of identity. Our instincts start to dull, our beliefs soften into a silence, and it's not done through force. First, you feel numb, constantly reactive. You might swing between apathy and agitation without a lot of clear causes for it. That is a nervous system that is overstimulated by artificial inputs. We are scrolling, swiping, clicking, and reacting. Our brains were never meant for this much input. Being alone with no music, no internet feels almost unbearable. And modern neuroscience shows us that without deep, undistracted focus, our brains can't transfer short-term experiences into long-term memory. It's like our lives are now being written in disappearing ink. You might not be able to recall conversations or moments or maybe a feeling from last year. That is not just stress. It is a breakdown in memory encoding. 1 degree here, another forgotten moment somewhere else. Your attention fragments. Psychologists call this cognitive drift, but in this era, it's something darker. You don't just forget moments. You forget identity. You forget yourself. How do you know if this is happening to you? Maybe you used to be curious or passionate or driven, and now those traits just feel like something distant that you can't grab anymore. You start to believe that none of it matters. Meaning starts fading and apathy starts spreading. What we're talking about here is not just burnout. This is the final symptoms. The self just gets really vulnerable. And at this moment, you are ready to be rewritten. And they can write that story for you. So if any of that hit close to home, don't panic. This means that something inside of you still remembers. And if there's memory, that means that there is a way back.
All right, good place to stop it. I have to just state the obvious. I always find it the irony in videos like this when it's talking about social media and all the things that, you know, the problems with it, that we're literally watching this on we're literally watching this on YouTube.
Well, if you don't want to be fear-mongered out, like there's a little bit of a, you know, protection from this. The last 2 years of my life have been like, I've been the happiest I've been in a long time. Like I realized only recently, like I've been miserable most of my life. And it's hard actually getting the mask to fit the feeling on the inside, because like you get used to being a character. People expect you to be a certain way, even if it's cantankerous, even if it's like a grouch or salty, as some people describe it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm pretty jacked in. Like I'm pretty like involved in the internet. I watch plenty of it, but I do balance it against quiet moments of meditation.
Yeah.
I also do guided meditation, but sometimes I turn all of it off and I just go quiet. I just lie there. But I'm happy and I'm totally use the internet all the time. Now I don't doom scroll, whatever that is. I don't even know what that is, but I don't do it. Like I don't doom anything. I don't sit there and watch things I can't change. I don't get together with people who everyone, healthy, normal people, get together and chitter chat about all the serious things. And I don't know how to make that like a likable, compelling story. I feel like the thing I just said would cause a lot of people to go, "You're fucking full of yourself, bitch."
No, I think it.
But you can't get along with normal people in this day and age because they run to shit like this. Part of the problem is people don't ask themselves something. How do you want to feel when you interact with the world? How do you want to feel? Are you even asking that? Is it supplanted with, "It's irrelevant how I feel. Anger is the appropriate emotion." Wrong. You should be asking yourself how you want to feel and then generating those feelings. You know, learning how to do that. I think.
No, I think you make a good example of the positive thing that can come from detaching a bit and pulling some balance in there and not doom scrolling. See, me, I'm a little bit I'm bad. I've been bad. I've probably doom scrolled too much. You know, because I'm the type, I get fascinated by like worldly events and all. Like I could tell you everything that's probably going on, probably too much. But lately, I'm hoping that I've reached my limit, and I say that because I think I actually have. I've been dialing some of this stuff back because I see the negative sides of it. Part of it is also I'm getting older and like I want to preserve my eyes, and I feel like my eyes are getting twitchy from probably being on too much.
Don't you know any chilled out old people? Don't you know any of them that are sensible that have chilled out a little bit and they're like, "I've been watching news cycles since the dawn of TV. Yeah. It's always the end of the world."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because there's a temptation to call me a fool. There's a temptation to look at me, somebody that like dedicates their fucking mind to understanding this situation, and be like, "You're a fool." Like assume I don't get it. Assume I don't get that there's things you ought to be scared about. Go a little further. You know what I mean? Especially if you've got the excuse of being older and like, what am I going to do? March off to war? Like, what am I going to do to get involved in this? If all it's doing is ruining your life and making you have arguments with your loved ones and stuff like that, just ask yourself, is that how I want to feel? Do I want to feel divided politically? Do I want to feel alienated? How do you want to feel?
If I'm being honest, I think a part of it for myself is a little bit of FOMO. There's something about like being on the cusp of like an fascinating story and being like, it's happening now. I'm going to call people, or like, but then you start to realize that people really don't want to hear that shit. Like when like if the economy's bad, they don't want the guy coming in the room and be like, let me tell you about all the things that's bad about the economy. I'm like, you start to realize that like, I'm becoming that guy a bit.
I really don't think I'm a Christian, but yeah, good point. What did you say? You don't want to become the guy that's like talking about the negative?
Just like unleashing all the negative doom scrolling stuff that I've just,
there's lots of
saturated into, the people that I'm talking to all the time. I got to watch that. And I'm guilty of doing that.
And so am I. I'm guilty of doing it in a different level, being like judging people for being upset about that and not upset about higher things. I'm guilty too. I don't think I'm a Christian, but I do talk about Christ a lot. So I don't know where I fall. Like oh God, I feel like Jordan Peterson right now. I don't know. I just don't think I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm like that. Whatever mainstream contemporary Christianity is, I don't think I'm that. But I'm saying, Jesus talks about like, you're going to be able to take up poison and drink it. Don't go drink poison. He goes on, he lists like, you're going to be able to do this. You're going to be doing, what's worse for you? Like, a alcoholic drink or poison. He's telling you to drink poison. Or, you know what I mean? Or that you'll be able to and be unaffected. I think the hyperbolic, exaggerated way Jesus speaks sometimes is to like get you wake up a little bit here. I'm going to say something that's utterly baffling to you, so you pay attention. Like, you are not going to be affected by the same horse shit that affects like the layman, the non-initiated. You're not going to be affected by that because you'll see through it. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's up to something. Everybody's got an angle, and everybody's rife with a new take on something that you better start doing. And it always sounds like, it's so simple. I knew that actually, but it's good for the reminder. Yet somehow it's new information. It's just endless. It's endless improvement, endless self-improvement, and endless things to watch out for. I'm not trying to debunk what he's saying here. I'm just saying I don't feel affected by it.
Yeah.
But I don't follow the rabbit hole of everything the algorithm serves me either. I don't just like, well, it's showing it to me, must be good. Like, if I feel like I'm a little bored of this subject, because you should naturally get bored of things, like sick of them when their time's passed, not do them forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless you're up to something else that's just different. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But ask yourself, how do I want to feel? How do I want to feel? And then just be that thing. You know what I mean? Why is it so irritating? You know what I mean? You tell, okay, just be that way. Like dramatic people lost in their ego will not be able to receive a message like that. Like, they'll be like, but I'm sad. It's like, okay, don't be sad. They'll be furious that you even suggested that. Not realizing that if you really want to know about sadness, explore your sadness. Don't just quickly look to fix it quick. Look deeply into it. And then when you've like mastered it, when you like understand where all that sadness is really coming from, because it won't be from all the obvious spots that everyone and their brother tells you it's coming from. It'll be from somewhere deep you didn't want to look at. Find out what it's about. And then when you've got master of the spectrum, the kaleidoscope of feelings, pick and choose which one you want to feel and do it in your day-to-day when you're talking to people. That's my advice.
All right. Well, I think the narrator here is going to give some tips and tricks on how to get back to a little bit more of your humanity here. So we'll continue on.
So there are 6 steps to starting to remember your way back. Step 1, see the fog. Every reach for your phone, every scroll, start tracking the stuff. Don't fight the trance, just notice the trance. The fog loses power when you can see it and you're aware of it. Step 2, drop the mask completely. Our world wants you to be obsessed with how people perceive you. This culture wants you to be fearful of what people think. Say 3 true things that you've never said before, even to yourself. Step 3, get into your body. Return to the instrument of your being, more in tune with your body. Get mindful, feel your ribs move, breathe like it's your only job. Step 4, returning and recovering what you buried. Dream or a passion or some wildness that was inside of you, that was exiled. It was not extinguished. Step 5, make the ordinary things sacred. Your words shape the future. This is not mysticism. This is neuroplasticity. You're getting your brain back. Step 6 is leave a trail. Write down 1 sentence. Tape it anywhere that you're going to see it. Something that says, I was here and I remembered. That might sound ridiculous, but if you even try this for a couple of days, I want you to comment down below what happened having that weird phrase put up where you could see it. So before you go back into your life, before the noise starts to creep back in, I want to leave you with something important. And it's not a warning, it's not a solution, it's a couple of questions. And once these questions are planted inside you, they might never let you rest the same way again? What parts of me have I already forgotten? What instincts started to grow quiet? What dreams did I have that grew small? What parts of myself have I lost? Not because I changed, but because I stopped remembering those parts. And if some of those pieces are missing, I want you to answer each one of those with a follow-up question of, did I let them slip away, or did something take those from me? So memory isn't lost all at one time. Memory is chipped away, and it's 1,000 little compromises over the course of a period of time. And it happens over and over, tiny compromises, until you wake up and you no longer recognize the shape of your own mind. But if you ask the right questions, if you sit in the quiet again, if you stop running from your own reflection, a face that you almost forgot, a voice that you thought you lost, a fire you didn't realize was still burning, those pieces can start to come back. You were never fully erased, only hidden. And memory always knows how to find its way home. And here's the part that they hope you never figure out. If they can fracture your memory, they can fracture your identity. And if they fracture your identity, they don't need to control you anymore. You're going to do it for them, by yourself. And that's not paranoia. That is a real blueprint. Once you stop remembering, you'll buy any story that they give you. You'll think it was always this way. You'll think your silence was even your idea. You'll think the numbness is life. But here's the truth that they absolutely cannot delete. Behind that fog, you are still in there. You're not lost. You don't need a guru. You don't need another system. You don't need to escape the matrix. You just need to remember what they work so hard to make you forget. Your thoughts are your territory. Your attention is your weapon. And your memory is the map. And above all of this, your sense of self is not theirs to edit. So if something inside you shook a little while watching this, if your gut tightened up, if your eyes maybe burned a little, if you felt like someone just turned a light on in a room that you forgot existed, that wasn't me waking you up. That was you. I'm just pointing toward the exit, and I'm asking you to do one thing. I want you to remember. And whatever you do, don't go back to sleep.
A lot of good advice there at the end. That list that he did after we came back from break there where we were talking. A lot of the stuff he said there, man, definitely do it. Do the stuff he said. I mean, only if you don't want to suffer. Like some people, you'd be like, well, you know, your way of doing it is inferior to the superior way, and you will suffer. And they do not know. Like some people will like suffer with a smile. They'll like suffer in suffering and hide it. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, what do you want? What do you expect to do with somebody like that? Can't even be they have whatever the thing is that makes you give over to being like possessed by ideas rather than the reality of your situation.
I like the first step. The first step is just be aware of it. Just become aware of it. And then slowly, you know, as that awareness builds, you know, you'll be able to spend a little bit more time, you know, with you. That's where, you know, things like, it doesn't have to be like traditional meditation, but going on walks or doing something that takes you away from the addictive substance or the thing, whatever's got you.
Depending on what you've been up to, you will feel like your body will be like complaining to you the first few times. If you've been hooked on rapid thinking, like if you've been hooked on too much thinking or hooked on too much content or hooked on too much socializing or hooked on too much substance or hooked on too much anything, you will have to pay the piper, like physically. You know what I mean? Are you
Yeah.
going to put it off, though? You're going to, like, put off that thing? Treat it like the adventure of a lifetime. And if it's severe enough, get some help, for God's sake. Do it professionally with guidance. But if it's not so severe that you're not going to, like, have a seizure doing it, you will probably feel some bodily pain and discomfort, and some psychic pain and discomfort, you know, like deconditioning yourself from all that stuff that you've been upholding. But that's the adventure of a lifetime. You're like the hero sweating it out, ready to come out on the other side like the Messiah,
Well, yeah,
maybe,
there's
for
a,
us.
There's a whole nother side there. Sometimes just sitting through that pain and letting, embracing it and seeing it wholly and going through, it's a practice, and there's a better side on the other side of that pain. There's ecstasy and bliss and happiness and
Marginally.
yeah.
Maybe, maybe it can get better and better and better and better. I'm not exactly where I want to be. I got room to grow.
Yep.
I still have vices, for God's sake. I
So-
still have things that I do habitually, so shame on me.
Yep.
But it's better. And going into this, the first thing I said was I don't have too much of a problem with this, because I noticed, like, at one point the algorithm was serving me up all these like police encounters with criminals that were either showing the cop being too heavy-handed or showing the criminal being just, entitled. Like, why are you,
Yeah.
whatever. Things that would rub you the wrong way, because easy to judge without actually being in the shoes of that. And it made me hostile. And then I noticed a lot of the conversations I was getting into were sort of that hostile bend.
Yeah.
But there's deeper to go, obviously. That's like the warning sign that something's gone wrong,
Yeah.
and that stuff is exploitable, just like he alluded to in the video, or maybe he all out said, I can't remember. But you're exploitable. Your anger is exploitable. Your self-righteousness is exploitable. Everything.
Yeah.
All your attributes, your desire for peace and love and rainbows is exploitable. You got to see through it all and be like, okay, I see what they're doing. Everything's an ad. Everything is an ad for something else and a hyperlink to some other thing. Capture my attention or whatever.
Well, folks, remember who you are. And if you liked this episode, please don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share us with a friend, and everyone, till next time,
Stay spiritual.